I just stole a kid's motorcycle and I don't even feel bad about it. Morning there, DBF family. So on today's agenda, as you saw just a second ago, I stole a dirt bike. I actually stole a dirt bike from a child. Yep, sure did. Now the story to that is this dirt bike is Jed's kid's. This is his kid's KX65, and his two youngest boys have been riding these KTM 50s and they flat outgrown them. And so here about a month and a half ago, when we were over in Kingville, Swing Arm City, for our annual kind of a kickoff for our bike ride season, he threw his youngest boy on this KX65 and he was just having a ball. Well, wouldn't you know it, about 10 minutes into it, something happened to the motor on this thing. It locked up. It is definitely not happy. So you and I are going to head up to Jed's shop. We're gonna steal this motorcycle, take it back to the garage, tear this thing down, and see if we can get this thing fixed up for him, because Jed is a busy dude. He has a lot of things going on, and if this is something I can do to help him out, I'm more than happy to do what I can to help him out, to take a little bit of stress off his plate. So we'll be up there in a few minutes, load this thing in the back of the truck, and get it back to the house and see what we're up against. Well, we made her. And here it is. Look what else we got here. Oh yeah, look at that. There's the Oasis of Place Racing mower. Real nice. You'll see that again here real soon. If you guys don't know the history of that mower, I suggest going back a couple videos and checking that one out. That thing's pretty quick. But here she is. Here's the bike we're gonna be stealing for today. Don't even know the year of this thing, but it's actually pretty clean. Looks like it's had a top end on it at some point, but yeah, it's definitely not happy at the moment. As you can see, it's yeah, something's not great with this thing. So I'm gonna take this thing home, tear it down, see if we can get this kid up back on a 65 again. It's time. They're getting big. So let's get this thing loaded up. Let's head back to the barn. I just stole a kid's motorcycle and I don't even feel bad about it. But no, seriously, he knows I'm coming to get this thing. I talked to him, he's good with it, so I didn't technically steal it, but I guess I kind of stole it. I'm not keeping it forever. I'm just gonna go fix it. Jeez, don't be so literal, people. So first things first on the agenda, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull the drain plug, see how much coolant is actually in it, and then we will start taking off the exhaust and the carburetor, and we'll look down both sides of the intake and the exhaust and see what we can see up in there, just to give us an idea of where we're at. Yeah. All right, let's see how much coolant's in the system on this thing, if any. There wasn't much antifreeze in that. Yeah, I think it's supposed to have more than that in it. Not 100% sure. But I don't know. Maybe Kawasaki has a thing where they don't have to have hardly any coolant in it. But I bet it's supposed to have more than a cup in it. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm a Honda guy. All right, just for reference, I'm going to dump the amount of coolant or antifreeze that came out of this bike in my ratio, right? Just to see, you know, for my own curiosity, how much was in it. So, here we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that, fancy. You guys ever see that movie with Tom Cruise where he's the bartender? I'm not that guy. All right, so total, we took out 7 fluid ounces. I got a feeling this is supposed to have more than that in it. So you might be asking yourself, hey, Kevin, what are you doing working on a Kawasaki? You are a Honda guy. I know, I am a Honda guy, but my buddy is a Kawasaki guy and he's busy, so back off. I'm working on a Kawi, all right? No, it's all good. We don't care what it is. As long as it's a high quality Japanese product, we'll work on whatever. I'm just a little nervous that we're gonna have a knife fight in here when I go in tonight, and it's gonna be Honda on Kawasaki crime, you know? Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going in. Let's look up inside the exhaust port and see what things look like in there. I'm gonna guess that it started to melt the piston, which in turn started to seize the piston to the Nicosil coating on the cylinder. Any bets? No takers. All right, let's look in there. And can't see anything. Oh, wow. Huh. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, it started to heat seize right there. I'll get the camera in there and see if you guys can see it on there. No guarantees, but looks like we're taking the top end off of this motor regardless. So once we get it tore off, we'll get a better look. But let's give you a peek. So I'm not real certain y'all can see that. Try to get light in there for you, but if you look on the bridge of the exhaust port on each side, it's got some major scarring where it started to seize. Not happy for a short period of time. So next step, let's go ahead and pull the old carburetor off, and we'll start taking the cylinder head off. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the tank and the seat just to give me a little more room, but we'll pull the cylinder head off and then pull the cylinder off the piston and see how far we need to go after that. Don't forget to catalog all your fasteners. Makes it a lot easier when you go back together. I do this all the way through the whole build, so body bolts, exhaust bolts in another one, all the engine bolts, everything will individual little sandwich baggies. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my compressed air nozzle and spray off the dirt and debris and garbage around the top of the cylinder and the top of the head, just to keep somewhat sanitary when we tear this thing apart. Now, yeah, I messed up. I should have pressure washed the whole thing before I tore it apart, but I didn't. All right? Calm down. Everything's going to be all right. How lucky do you think I can be and just wiggle this off of there? Or is it going to be stuck? Oh, it's moving. Oh, perfect. That wasn't bad at all. Been running good. Got a little debris impregnated inside of the cylinder head. That should be a little alarming. Get a rag. Yeah, at some point something's gone through the top end of this thing. Look at that. All those little chunks embedded inside of that aluminum. Yikes. Doesn't look terrible. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look horrible. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the 4 bolts off and pull this cylinder off and actually get a real good look on what's going on inside of here. I've seen way worse. But for me, it's hard to tell because you gotta remember, I'm used to a steel sleeve cylinder on the CR500s, so generally when they, seize up and lock up, there's no question. These Nikasil cylinders, it's kind of a cool technology, but man, I'm not familiar enough with them to really say. I mean, I have a couple bikes that have it, but 250, both my sleds are Nikasil cylinders, but 500s are not. So this is a Nikasil cylinder, so really, best thing we can do is get this thing pulled off, see what it looks like inside. Oh, easy there, camera guy. So to get the jug off the cases, had to bust out the old rubber Tanya Harding and give her the old whack just to break that bottom gasket loose off the cases. So pretty typical. Whatever you do on these, never stick a screwdriver in between them or a pry bar and just pry between the cases and all that. If you have to, pry right there. Never where there's a gasket sealing. You can go from here to here, not so much here, but more here. Here, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no. Yeah. Give her the old whack, see if she'll come loose. Yep, just like that. Go the other side, same thing. Off those dowels. There we go. Beautiful. It was definitely heat seizing for sure. Come here, come look at this. I'll get you. Right here is the exhaust side of the piston. Look at that. It is just gnarly. I mean, that thing, it was definitely seizing up right there. It got hot. It got really hot. Let's check the rod for up and down play. Oh yeah, that thing's toast. The rod bearing in the crank is trashed. Hear that? Yep, she's junk. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull the engine out of this thing and make a phone call, see if Dave can hook us up on a crank rebuild and going through the cylinder on this thing. Get this thing put back together. Such a cute little motor. Now that I got this motor out of the frame, you can clearly see that the lower rod bearing in this thing was just hot, super hot, and that's what actually seized in the motor. So check this out. See that right there? See the discoloration on the tins and on the rod itself? That thing was extremely hot. See all the bluing? Yeah. No good. Junk. See it moving up and down? It's done for. Got the motor out of the frame. You can see what's really going on with this thing. Let's go ahead and see if we can split the cases on this and get the crank out of it. Now these KXs, they don't come with a gasket between the two cases, inner cases. They're just silicone together, so these can be a little bit tricky. So get yourself a case splitter and just take your time. So we're gonna put a little pressure on it. Might have to get the torch out and actually heat the silicone up between the two cases just to get it to break loose. But once it goes, it should go pretty easy. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Again, no Tanya Harding. The back half to come loose. We're good to go. Take the nut off the end of the crankshaft. And there you go. Ta-da! Get everything to stay where it needs to stay. One thing I like to do is take a zip tie and just zip tie the shafts right here so the gears just don't fall out when you tip it over. Not necessary, but something I like to do. Well, as you can see, that lower end is toast. It is junk. So like I said earlier, I'm gonna take this crank, ship it up to my buddy Dave, let him go ahead and rebuild this crank, do his magic on the cylinder, and before you know it, hopefully in a couple weeks, we'll have this KX65 up and running for Jed's kids, and we'll go do some dirt biking, because wintertime in southern Utah where we're at, it's dirt bike season. So as always, we'll catch you guys next time, and appreciate y'all watching.